Hi everybody. I wanted to come on today and show you this little birdhouse that I made. It's a three-dimensional birdhouse, and it's made from a little popcorn box. And I had posted this on my Facebook page, and someone mentioned that they wanted to see a video on how I made it. And I was actually planning another video, which I'm going to do with you today, but I thought, and I told her that I would show this one on this video and see if there was any other interest, if anyone else is interested in me making a video to show you how I made the little birdhouse. So if you are, just let me know, and if you want to leave a comment, let me know. And then I will be happy to do a video and show you how I created this little birdhouse. Okay, but the original plan I had, and I still want to do, is if you don't want to make a three-dimensional birdhouse. First, I was going to show you these popcorn boxes. These are the little boxes that I got. That actually I got these to have for when my grandchildren are here. And when I decided I wanted to make a birdhouse the other day, I realized this was about the right shape for a birdhouse. So this is what I chose to use. See? So anyway, let me know if that's what you would like to see. Okay, back to today's little plan. So today I decided I would kind of play off of the idea of this little birdhouse and do a tag. And so I came up with this one, which is very similar, only it's flat, and you may be able to do more with a little tag like this. And so I thought, well, I could do a video and show you how I created it, and we can make one together. And so that's what we're going to do today. All right. So the first thing, I started off with just a piece of pattern cardstock. And it's 3 by 6 inches, and at the top edge I measured the center point, which is 1.5, and then I also measured 1.5 inches down on each side here, and that's just to get the right measurements to make your peak, the peak of your birdhouse or tag, because typically a lot of tags have a peak like this too. Which is why I thought it would make the birdhouse would make a cute little tag, because they're kind of made this way anyhow. Okay, so all we do then is just cut the peak for the roof of the birdhouse. Okay. Then I also, I have a border punch. I have several border punches, but I chose one that looks like this. And I went ahead and punched a piece of white cardstock in this pattern. Now you can use any pattern you want. I also have a little lattice border that looked real cute too, but I decided to go with this one. On the house, I used a scallop punch here. So you can use a border punch, you can use the wavy scissors or scallop scissors, or any way that you can create an edge. That's what I did here with the white. So I've already cut 2 of these. I've measured them and cut them just for time saving purposes. So you just want to be able to lay those like this. Okay, and then I took the corresponding pattern paper and just cut a couple of strips so that they're going to lay on top like that. So we're going to attach that now. You know what, I think before I attach those, I'm going to go ahead and outline a little bit just for some shading on the house. I did it after I did the roof the first time, and it was kind of hard to get up into the edges here, so up here where the roof was already attached was a little difficult. So anyway, I figured we could outline it before we put the roof on. Okay. All right, and then there's no need to do the top piece because that'll be covered. Okay. So I'm just using a tape gun here to apply some adhesive on the back. I'm going to go ahead and put it on this side too. All right, and you don't want to go all the way down to the edge that you angle off. You don't want to go all the way down because that's going to stick down below below the roof of the house. So. Okay. All right, that looks good. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with these blue pieces. I'm using my Faber-Castell Pitt pens to just put a little border around it. Okay. I made these. I actually cut these a little too long. Possibly, let's see. One of them is a little too long, see? So I'll have to trim that off and then use the marker again. All right. So this one is, it's a little long too, but it's okay. And add some adhesive. So what you want to do is just make sure that the bottom edge of the roof line meets, and then you can trim it. Or I guess you could trim either way, but and I'm lining this one up right with the edge of the house. Actually, I've got a little white sticking out there. I'm going to trim that off. Okay. All right, so this one's going to be lined up with the edge of the peak of the roof there. Okay. Trim that off, and you really aren't going to see this because I think the other one overlaps it, if I remember correctly. A little too close to the edge there, so I'm just kind of rolling that adhesive back underneath to the back side. Pull it off. There we go. All right. actually went just a little bit over the edge of the roof there, so I'm just going to trim that, just barely sticking up the edge. Okay, and then we just snip that off at the top. Got a little adhesive back here sticking to the hands. I'm going to roll that off. Okay, so there you've got the beginnings of the house. All right, next I had punched I didn't punch it, I used a die cutting machine, but I die cut the circle. And you can use a punch, or you can just cut out a circle by tracing around something. And I'm just going to also shade around this. Okay. And then I'm going to do the edges as well. And you can use any markers for this. Doesn't have to be any special kind. You just want to try to match the color of your cardstock, and preferably have it just a little darker than the cardstock color. Okay, and while I have the marker here, I'm going to do this piece where I cut this. All right, and I'm going to also do the edges of this so the white edge is not so obvious. Alrighty. And I should have done that with the green a while ago too. Just take that right along the edge. It's not white anymore, it's green. Okay. Then we can put the hole to the birdhouse. And there's no rhyme or reason really to this. I just kind of guesstimated where I wanted the hole to be. So I'm just going to put this here, try to get it centered on the house as much as you can. Okay, I think that looks good. Alrighty. And then I took the green marker and just drew a vine for the flowers to sit on. So you can make that any shape or any design that you want. I just kind of started from the bottom like so and kind of just curled it upward like that, and then I did an extra little branch over that way like so. Okay. Now the flowers are, you can use any flowers, you can punch some flowers or purchase some. These I purchased years ago from they're a Jolie's brand. An old package of Jolie's flowers, and I'm trying to use a lot of stuff that has just been sitting around for years that I intended to use and never did, or I hoarded it away or whatever, but I'm just decided I'm going to use some of this stuff, and so that's what I'm doing. Now for the leaves I used a flower. This is a felt flower. You can use anything you want though still. You can use paper or you know, leaves that you already have. I just don't have any leaves. There's some leaves in this package, but they're so pale that chose to not use those. This was a little darker, so I decided to make leaves from this flower, and all I did is just kind of cut it up into sections of 2 for the most part. So it almost looks like a little heart. And sometimes it looks squared off, like this edge here looks pretty square. And so I just, rounded it off a little to make it look like a leaf. Okay, it's another squared edge. Just round it out. And one of these I used 3 sets of 2, and then 2 individual leaves. So I cut the last little pair into 2. And this flower is a sticker, which is handy. I don't have to glue those down, I just stick them. Alright, get the trash out of the way. Okay. So I just peeling off the backing here. And I'm going to stick all of these down onto the vine that I've drawn. I think I'm going to go over that one more time, make it a little darker. Okay. Okay, so we have the flowers done. Have a little rhinestone heart that I'll put at the top here. This is a package of center kisses, Prima center kisses that I got on clearance for 99¢. I think it was at Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure, but I've had those for a little while also, so it's time to use them up. So I'm just going to use glue dots. And I used 3-dimensional foam dots for the flowers only because the leaves are 3-dimensional and they're raised, and so I needed to bring the flowers up to the same height. But you can do yours flat with regular adhesive or glue, it's fine. It'll still look very cute. Okay, so this I'm just going to center here. That looks good. Alright, next is the little bird, and the bird is a die cut. I just realized I never put a wing on this bird, so I need to do that too. But this is die cut with a Spellbinders die, and I'm going to take my red marker and outline it also. Just give it a little shading. Okay. And I just put his eye in with Sharpie markers, just a black dot basically. A little bit bigger than a dot. Make a circle. And then I take my Posca paint pen and make a little dot for light in his eye. Like so. I had to pause for a minute there so I could go get the paper for the bird's wing. Okay, so I went ahead and just freehand cut a wing and outlined it with red. And I also did the edges of the wing and the edge of the bird so that you don't have the white paper edges showing. Okay, so now all we need to do is put the wing on the bird, and I think I'm just going to use a little dot of glue for this. I'm going to go ahead and put it on this one first. And you can put the wing in any position you want. I think I'll put this one up like that. Isn't that cute? Okay. So we'll do the same thing on this one. Okay, so now we're just about ready to put the little bird on the house. Now we need a perch, and I've got a tiny little piece of brown cardstock, just a tiny little, like a stick. And I'm just going to cut the end of it to round it off. Just trim off the corners. Just a tiny amount, just so that there's no points on it. And then I'm going to take my little fine point Sharpie and I'm just going to draw a circle on the end of that so that it actually looks like a little dowel rod that would be on a birdhouse. Okay, so we're going to put a little tiny bit of glue on the back. Okay. And that dowel just kind of comes out at an angle just a little bit. It looks a little odd there, but once you get the bird in place, it looks like it's supposed to be. Okay. And I am going to I'm going to use foam adhesive for the bird also, so he looks a little three-dimensional on the perch. So I'm going to use this again here. Yeah. Okay. And a little small one too near the back. Okay. Okay, so we've gotten everything done except I want to put a little word. I like to put a little word on it. This one says laugh. And for this one I chose sing. So I'm using the same paper that I used for the bird's body. And I'm just going to put some adhesive on here. I'm just going to place it down and then trim around it. It's just the tiniest little edge on there. And it just helps bring some of the red up towards the top of the house. I'm not sure. I think my phone may have stopped recording for a few minutes. So if you missed anything, I mean, if it did stop, I added the bird and his wing, and I added the word at the top. And so now I'm going to punch a hole at the top of my tag. Actually, I'm going to make a little mark here. So I can make sure that I get it right where it needs to be. Okay. And then I'm going to put some cotton twine in the top. And for those of you who don't know this little trick, this is a dental floss threader, and I use it like you use a needle threader. And I just put, like in this case, I put the twine through the big area and push it through the hole, and it pulls it through like when you're threading a needle. So that is handy, and these are inexpensive, and you get a bunch of in a package. I've only ever bought one package. Alright, and now I'm going to thread a couple of beads on to the twine, and I'm going to do the same procedure, just looping over the ribbon. I'm sorry, the twine. Okay, and I'm going to, these are just some little plastic beads I had on hand for the granddaughters. Okay, so just see that just pulls right through, and it's so much easier to thread than trying to get things into those small holes. So then once you get the beads in place, then you just tie a knot at the end, just like that. And there you've got a tag. Now I will mention, I used the adhesive in the tape runner to stick most of this down this time. And the reason for that is because the first time I used glue, and it's a little warped. Where I glued down different parts of it, it just kind of warped the cardstock. So that's just another little thing I learned, so I'll just pass that along to you. But anyway, these are really cute and simple and quick, and you could, you know, give one of these to a friend or send to someone who's not feeling well, and I'm sure it would just brighten their day. So it brightens my day just looking at it, and I'm the one who made it. So I just think that anything that's cute and makes people smile is just the way to go. So, and this was simple enough to do. So I hope you'll give it a try and see if you like it. And if, like I said, if you'd like to have me do a video for you on the three-dimensional birdhouse, leave me a comment, let me know, and I'll be happy to do so. We'll see how much interest there is. Thanks everybody for watching. Talk to you soon.